Steve, we'll start with this morning's stories in some of the papers. Then Shane Long, 4 million, 5 million, take your pick. Is there any truth in them?
Well, first and foremost, yeah, I really want to try and apologise to West Bromwich Albion as a club, because I don't think anything's come from us, and certainly, and the same goes, I made another bid for another striker 2 days ago, which was another exclusive. We put the record straight at the minute. We haven't bid for anybody just yet. Now, we've got a couple of irons in the fire. Of course, Shane Long is always going to be the one that's going to be mentioned because of what happened in the summer. But at the moment, we haven't made any bid, as I've just said to you, for any player. And I'm like a lot of managers, we've got a few things up in the air, a few things could be happening, but until they happen, I'll be delighted to tell you if they happen, but at the moment there's nothing happening with anything.
There's clearly a tone of frustration in your voice. Just how
well,
much...
if I would be the manager of West Brom and I'd be the manager of Sunderland, I would be annoyed at it too, because it's just nonsense journalism when there's exclusives, and exclusives that with Shane Long's in the building here this morning for a medical, then I would have thought they would have the courtesy to just check to see if that's correct. And as I said, we would love to know where it comes from, because it certainly hasn't come from us. 2 days before that, we're making an £80 million bid for Fletcher, which we've tabled, which is another little nonsense. So I am a bit disappointed with it because it's not true and it's just nonsense. So what can I do but sit here and apologise to everybody concerned?
Is that one area of the field, the attack?
Yeah, we've made that quite obvious, that if we can improve, we're options in the strike force. I mean, Aluko signed a new deal, but has obviously been injured, and we've got a few people. But if we can improve in that area, if you look at the goal scoring situation, it's been a problem all season for us. So if we can do something in that department, then we'll try. Believe me.
I saw you quoted as saying yesterday the new 2.5 deal for Aluko could be the best bit of business you do in this transfer window.
Yeah.
Do you rate him that high?
Well, certainly since he's walked through the door with me 18 months ago, for me he was the best player in the Championship last year until he got injured. And unfortunately this year, just getting over injury, he's had another injury. He played 6-7 times for me in the Premier League at the start of the season, and I've got no doubts in my mind that he can go and be a Premier League player. So we're delighted that we've got him. When a player's threatening to leave for nothing, when he's got a value like him, then we're all delighted that we've been able to manage to persuade him to sign for the next 2.5 years, and he will be vital to us going forward. And what we need him now is to get fit. We need the lad to have a run, an injury-free run, because he is a very, very good player.
Leeds United have announced this morning that Cameron Stewart has joined them.
Yeah.
A lot more speculation that perhaps you might be looking to move on players like McLean, Gado.
Well, all people like McLean and people who are not playing regularly, the one thing they want to do is go and play, and make sure, like Cameron Stewart, that they've got it. We wish him the best of luck. I'm delighted that he went down to Charlton and did so well. It's enabled him now to go and get a 3.5-year deal at Leeds, so I'm led to believe. So I'm pleased about that. They've got to get on with their careers. If you've got something about you, and you're not playing, then the one obvious thing you want to do is get out somewhere and play, and that goes for certainly McLean, Cameron Stewart, Matty Fry. It's in that bracket, although I've been delighted with him of late. So all players, if they've got something about them, if they're not playing, they want to go and play. So we'll have a few issues in that department, and we'll see what crops up.
Of course, amidst all this, there's a massive game for you this weekend against Chelsea.
Just a little bit, yeah. Just a little bit, yeah.
You look back to the opening game of the season. Just how different is your team now to that one that took the field at Stamford Bridge?
Well, I think the second half performance gave us all a belief that we could play at this level. The big question is for all of us here is, we've had a really good. We're halfway through. Can we sustain it? We weren't able to in the last time Hull were here, and I think that's the big challenge to us all. Since Chelsea, some 6 months ago, we've made a fantastic fist of staying here, and at the moment we're top of our league, if you like. Can we stay there is the big question that I'll ask to all the players repeatedly. Do we want to stay here? And week in and week out, they've performed to a level which has enabled us to be 10th at the moment. Our aim is, can we stay there?
Obviously, in the second half of that game at Stamford Bridge, Tom Huddleston came on, Jake Livermore came on, both had a huge impact. Over the course of those 6 months, would it be fair to say they've become mainstays of this team?
Well, both players needed one thing. They needed to go and play regular week in and week out. And we don't hide the fact that the both of them have made the impact, which, I mean, we signed 4 or 5 players in the summer, and they've all had a big impact, but arguably the impact of Huddleston and Livermore have been terrific for us. They've given us the energy what you need and the ability which you need. And of course, they're proven Premier League players, which also you need a bit of that too, to go with the lads who are desperate to stay there. So it's been a good mix. But more importantly is the way they've just fitted into the dressing room. They're really good types who are both enjoying playing week in and week out, and the both of them have done fantastically well so far. The key is now make sure they do it for the next half.
Finally, from me on the side, Thomas Hitzelsberger has done an interview this morning saying he's openly gay. How close do you think we're coming now to a point where a player that's actually still playing the game feels free to express?
Well, I mean, it's very, very brave of him, and you know, it mustn't have been easy to come out and make that decision. And I'm sure there are gay footballers like there are gay barmen, gay actors. Of course, we'd be naive to think. It's just in the past, I suppose, like everything else, we've brushed it under the carpet. So fair play to the lad. He's come out and been as honest as he can. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few more. I don't know of any, but fair play to the fella for being as honest as he has done, and be open about it. And that's 2 or 3 now we've seen, haven't we? So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a few more.
Steve,
Well.
sorry. We all know sort of Chelsea's strengths. So what do you think are going to be the keys to getting a result this week?
Well, the one thing we'll have to do is play well, because if you play Chelsea in the team that they put out, we'll A, have to defend well, and B, when we've got the ball, pose a threat, because the quality from 1 to 19 or 1 to 20 or 1 to 23 is there for everybody to see. And of course, the outstanding manager and Mourinho, they are rumbling along very, very nicely, aren't they? You know, they are going to be, for me, they're going to be there or thereabouts in every competition, because the manager's proved himself as good as there is. And of course, he's got a squad of players which is in a little bit transition, you would have thought, but there's no disputing the quality what they've got from whoever team they pick. And of course, with Mourinho in charge, they've got a desire which goes before them.
You mentioned Mourinho a couple of times. Is the Premier League better for having him
Yes,
back?
100%. Yeah. Well, he's box office, isn't he? Since the day he arrived. And we were all glad to see him back. The only problem is we'll find it always difficult to beat him. So that's a problem, but now we're welcome. It's good to see him back. He's a proper football person, and a very, very talented one as well, which when you see people like that, it's box office stuff for you guys, so good to see him around.
Form here at the KC Stadium has been excellent so far this season as well, and you've shown against the big teams, so-called big teams, that you're more than a match for them. Psychologically, how much of a boost is it?
Well, I think for all of us that was the big key to it. Can we go and play against the big boys? You know, last year we're sitting watching them on TV. Now we're up against them, and you're rightly saying we've done very, very well against them. The key to it is we've got to play well, and in big games we have done well. Maybe not got the result, not quite good enough, but we've give all of them a run for their money, and let's hope that continues, because we see how good these big teams are, and on their day they can come and give you a hiding. So we'll have to be at our best to get something.
One for our sister station across in Leeds. Obviously, with Cameron Stewart going over there, how important was it to get something sorted out for Cameron, because he's had quite a period?
Yeah, I mean it's vitally important. As part of my job is to make sure that the lads who don't really fit in your plans still go on to have a career. And he found it very frustrating here. And I think fair play to Charlton and Chris Powell for giving him the opportunity to get himself in some sort of physical shape again. I think he played 12, 13 times for Charlton, And the reports I got back every week were that he was doing better and better, which you would expect. He needed to go and play. And that's the problem that we all face if you don't play regularly. So I'm delighted for Cameron that he's got fixed up. I hope he stays fit, and I hope he has a good run at Leeds, because we thank him. It didn't go quite as well as we would like to for him under myself, but I wish him the best of luck in his future career with Leeds.
Just finally, we sort of heard the frustration that you have with the sort of speculation at this time of year as well.
I don't mind speculation. It wasn't speculation. When people write exclusives and write detailed facts, which are just nonsense, that's not speculation. You know, so, you know, as I said, I would be disappointed if I was the manager of both Sunderland and West Brom, because they're simply not true. And unfortunately, somebody's leaked it from somewhere, whatever it is, and it's not true. So you would have thought that if you're going to write an exclusive, then make sure your facts are right, because for me that's just bad journalism if it's not right. And certainly I didn't see Shane Long at our training ground this morning, for example, which I was looking forward to, but let me tell you. But
But the transfer window seems to get bigger every year. I mean, is it becoming increasingly difficult, obviously, with journalism?
Well, of course, the way Twitter is, the way journalism is, the way media is, but it seems like to me like the old-fashioned journalist would ring you and say, listen, I've got this story, before he would go and publish it as an exclusive. And if you deny it or he's got facts, then great, but to be so wide of the mark, it's just ridiculous. So you don't mind anybody grabbing something. They've done their work and they've got an exclusive and they've got it right, great, fine, happy days to them. But it just causes us a big problem. So we've spent half the morning apologising to the respective clubs, and really we've got nothing to do with it because it's not our fault.
Steve, you had this sickness problem at the weekend. How's that shaping up for you?
Well, the vast majority are okay, but we have had probably 8 of them. 8 of them have suffered. Thankfully, it looks as if it's more or less a 24-hour, 48-hour bug. But so we hope that there's none of them got any real problems with it anymore. But it was a real concern. But you know, to have 8 of them, 9 of them, was a bit of a worry. But touch wood, we seem to be okay at the moment.
And fitness-wise, that cancer or other injuries, you sort of looking similar?
Yeah, McShane's he's going to be 3-4 weeks. He turned his ankle badly at Middlesbrough last week, so he's not in the picture for Saturday. But the rest remains the same.